Hello, welcome to Business Negotiation A. As you know, the first class of the semester is going to be held on demand. So in this video, what I'd like to do is three things. So let's take a look. First of all, there's going to be three videos that you need to watch in the first class. Okay, please make sure that you watch all three videos before completing the assignments on Toyota Ace. So in the first video, I'm going to give you an overview of some course information from the syllabus to help you understand what we'll be doing in this course. Then in the second video, I'll introduce some useful communication skills that will help people hopefully communicate more smoothly in this course. And then finally, I will introduce your homework assignments and show you how to complete them successfully. Right, so let's get started. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ian Hurrell, and here is my email address. Okay, so please take a note of that. Again, one thing to be careful of is my email address has two R's and two L's. Okay, so if you have any questions or want to talk about anything regarding the class, please don't hesitate to contact me. I do my best to respond to emails as quickly as possible. Right. So first of all, I hope you all read the syllabus on Toyota Ace, but I do want to talk about some particularly important things that will help you understand this class a little better. Now, the first point I want to talk about is that this is an advanced course designed to introduce business negotiation skills in English. Okay, so yes, this is one of the most advanced English courses that are offered by the Department of Business Administration. Again, this course is going to be taught entirely in English, and we'll be reading a book which is not a book designed to learn English, but a book designed to be read by native speakers and has been written by native speakers to learn negotiation skills. Also, in classes, you'll be expected to engage actively in discussions and negotiation role play activities based on the contents of the book homework reading assignments. So I guess the main thing that I want to say here is, look, this class is not a class designed to improve English language skills. I will not be teaching English language in this class. This is a class designed to learn business negotiation skills, learn using English. So that's a very important thing to understand before you decide whether you want to continue with this course. Again, as was written in the syllabus, you can see here that I expect everybody in this class to already be able to communicate and express your ideas in English to a reasonable extent. Again, recommended for this class is TOEIC level 600 plus or an IELTS band score 6 or higher. But even with these scores, this class may be challenging for some people. So please be aware of that. One thing I want to mention as well is that there is a three strikes rule in this class. Again, you'll be expected to participate actively in discussions on the book contents and role plays, negotiation role plays. And this is a really important part of this class. So, in this class, I'll be giving you discussion topics and negotiation scenarios, and I'll be walking around talking with you and also monitoring your discussions. Yeah, I'll also come over and chat to you and ask you questions, and you'll have the chance to ask me questions as well, so we can learn more actively. So if I'm walking around and I notice that you're not communicating actively in the activities, first thing I'll do is I'll give you a short warning just to let you know, like to try and communicate more. If it happens again, we'll have a meeting after the class to discuss what difficulties that you might be having participating in the activities. And then, if it happens a third time, then your participation scores for the class will start to be negatively affected. Now, one thing I want to mention is that it's been very, very rare that things have got to strike three. So please don't panic or worry about this. Again, I've very, very rarely had to use this strike system. However, I do want you to be aware that participating actively in discussions and negotiation role plays is a really core part of this class. So please do your best to be as active as possible in the class. As I mentioned, we will also be reading a book on negotiation skills. Here is the book. It's called Getting to Yes, Negotiating an Agreement Without Giving In. This book was written by Roger Fisher and William Ury. These two people were professors in Harvard University of Harvard's negotiation project. They first published this book in 1981, and this book is recognized as one of the most effective and practical guides for securing win-win outcomes in constructive negotiations. Basically, if you look at any negotiation website, you'll see that this book is usually at the top of any reading list. So if you're interested in developing your negotiation skills, this is a book you definitely should read and practice the content of. Now, yes, I do expect you to buy the book. However, the book is often not available on week one in the bookstore. So for weeks for lessons one, two, and three, I will be providing PDFs of the reading material. Okay, so you can do your homework assignments if you are having trouble getting the book. However, by week four, I do expect you to have the book. So here's our schedule for this semester. Okay, so for the first classes on the 8th, 15th, and 22nd of April, you will have PDFs on Toyona Ace. And then from the 29th, I expect you to have the book. So please make sure you go to the bookstore in Building 4 as soon as possible and order the book. Again, sometimes it takes a little while to arrive. So try and do this as quickly as you can. My advice to you is if you're worried about whether you can participate in this class, first of all, if you're following what I'm saying right now, then that should be a good indication that you can participate in the class. Also, read the first PDF on Toyona Ace and see how it goes. If you think that it's not too challenging, then I think this class will be good for you. But if you're having trouble with following what I'm saying and reading the PDF, then maybe you might want to consider changing to a different course this semester and coming back maybe in the future when you feel more confident. Right, next thing I want to do is just talk about the basic kind of like flow of this course. So, before each class, you'll be given a reading assignment on the content of the next class. Okay, and there will also be a short quiz on Toyona Ace for you to complete. Okay, so what you need to do before the class is read the chapter, complete the quiz, and think about the most important points of the course because we'll be when we get to the class, during the class, you will be talking about the contents of the book, the concepts and strategies that are contained within the chapter. And then you will also engage in practical activities designed to practice those skills. If you haven't done these homework activities, yes, the class may be quite challenging. Then, for homework, each week you'll be given your next homework reading assignment. You'll also be asked to write reflections on how you felt about the discussions and activities that we practice during the class, and these will also be shared with your classmates in the next class to help you develop your negotiation skills. So that's the basic flow of the course. Here's our schedule for this semester. So let's take a quick look at what we're going to be doing. So first of all, yes, week one, this course, yes, you're watching these videos. Then in week two, we'll start talking about introduction to negotiation. We'll look at hard, soft, and principled negotiation, and also the different stages, basic stages of negotiation. Then from weeks 3 to 5, we'll look at the first core principle of negotiation, which is separating people from the problem. In weeks 3 and 4, we'll look at the main concepts, discuss them, and do some mini negotiations. Then in week 5, we'll do a case study. And this will be quite similar to the negotiations you'll do for your midterm and for your final negotiation tests. So this will give you a good chance to understand what you need to do to get a good score. Then for week 6 and 7 will be the second concept, which is focusing on interests. Then week 8 and 9 will be the midterm test. In week 8, we'll review all the content we've done up to now, and I'll introduce your midterm test case study scenario. You'll have a chance to look at it and discuss it with your classmates and strategize for the negotiation test in week 9. From weeks 10 to 12, we will look at the third concept, which is inventing options for mutual gain. And in week 12, you'll have another negotiation scenario. Then weeks 13 and 14 will be the final test. Week 15 will be a wrap up. And an introduction to business negotiation B. And this class will also be on demand. So we'll have 13 face-to-face classes in total. Next, let's talk about assessment. Now, there are 3 assessment points for this class. First of all, class participation. That's completing the homework assignments, the reading quizzes, your active participation in the class discussions and activities, and also writing detailed reflections in your reflection assignments. The midterm test will be 20%. There'll be a written test, which was worth 5%, and a negotiation test worth 15. The final test is 40. Written test is worth 10, and negotiation test is worth 30. So the negotiation tests are very, very important. I'm going to explain the tests in more detail later on in the course, but just so you know, yeah, in week 8 and 9, you'll have the midterm, week 13, 14, the final test. There'll be a short written test based on the concepts of the class. And then you will have a practical negotiations scenario. I'll introduce that the week before. You'll have a chance to prepare and strategize for your negotiation. Then you'll get into pairs with your classmates and you will record your negotiations. And then I will listen to your negotiations and grade them. Again, I'll talk about that in more detail later on. But you're not going to be negotiating with me in the negotiation test. You're going to be negotiating with each other. So don't worry too much about that. One more thing I want to talk about is the attendance policy. I'm quite strict on attendance. Again, you need to attend at least 2/3 of the classes to receive credit. So that's at least 10 out of the 15 classes this semester. Also, you need to submit at least 2/3 of all class assignments. And even if you do submit all assignments, that does not guarantee a passing grade. You need to submit good quality work. Late work will not be accepted, no exceptions. The assignment deadline is generally Sunday after the class at 11:55 p.m. Okay, so please remember that. However, this week the homework assignment is slightly extended. It will be until Tuesday, 11:55 p.m. But generally it'll be Sunday. So please make sure you submit your assignments in good time. And if you are absent from class, it is your responsibility to catch up, review the class slides on Toyota Ace, talk to your classmates. If you have any questions, please send me a message. Again, just to let you know about the attendance policy, I am very strict on attendance. No more than 5 absences allowed, no exceptions. One lateness counts as zero point 0.5 absences. So, for example, if you had 4 absences and 3 latenesses, that would count as 5.5 absences, and you would not be allowed to receive credits. Okay. Again, one thing I want to ask you is if you are going to be late or absent, make sure that you send me a message to let me know your situation. Generally speaking, sickness and train delays are not accepted as reasons to be absent or late for class. However, I will consider on a case-by-case basis in exceptional circumstances. So please send me a message if you are going to be late or absent, and then we can talk about it. Um, Again, look, I think that 5 absences is very, very generous. If you can't attend at least 10 classes this semester, then something is very wrong, I think. So please make sure that you attend every single class. Only be absent if you have an emergency or you're sick. Toyo does allow for exemptions for absences in exceptional cases. These include infectious diseases like COVID and the flu, attendance of funerals for close family members, and participation in international sports events. However, if you want to receive an exemption, please make sure that you register your absence officially with Toyo University's systems. Once again, please come to every class. Only attend miss class if you are sick or have an emergency situation. Yeah, if you attend all the classes, you should have no trouble reaching 10 attendance points. Okay, so if you successfully complete all of these things, it's my hope that by the end of this course, you should have mastered various concepts and strategies for securing win-win outcomes in constructive negotiations, practical skills to negotiate various situations using case studies, and how to work together as a team to negotiate business. Okay, so that's the end of the first video. Thank you for listening. Please now move on to the second video where I will introduce some useful communication skills that will help you communicate more effectively in this class. See you in the next video.